Let me now turn to the last part of my presentation, in which I will be working with the implications for teaching. To do so, I will first focus on the ways in which we select appropriate formulaic sequences to teach them, and I will then refer to the teaching formulaic sequences stages that we need to bear in mind when we are doing the task. Let us begin by talking about the ways in which we select appropriate formulaic sequences to teach them. The main principles that we apply are three. We need rich input considering the following criteria. The first one is that we need the formulaic sequences to be fluent and natural, that is, idiomatic. What I mean to say by this is that we need to facilitate fluent language production for communicative purposes. Also, we need to help learners achieve linguistic accuracy, and lexicalized items provide zones of safety where learners are less likely to make errors. Also, knowing these chunks will help learners be confident that they are being understood by their interlocutors. In other words, when students know that they are using fluent and natural speech, they are much more confident to take the risk and to use language. This in turn will help students learn more language by using it. The whole process is therefore facilitated. With this in mind, it is then important to consider as a second main principle a selection of linguistic items that generate linguistic and personal growth in students, that is, linguistic items that nurture students in multiple ways. I am referring to lexicalized items that provide language that builds communicative possibilities in students and that generates enthusiasm to learn and interact. The last principle that we should bear in mind when we are selecting formulaic sequences is that they should allow for the construction of mental models. That is, they should be rich in the ways in which students can connect different concepts in mind so as to store these words in their long-term memories. This will facilitate cognitive processes as well as intake and output. Let us now turn to the second section of this part of the presentation, and let us start thinking about the ways in which we teach formulaic sequences. What are the stages that we use? Well, there are three main stages: noticing, retrieving, and generating. The first stage when teaching formulaic sequences is to help students notice. What does this mean? Well, it means to raise learners' awareness and make clear to them that the formulaic sequences are just as important as individual words. Additionally, noticing also involves boosting learners' motivation. This we do by helping them find a connection with communicative language production in real life. To see how noticing takes place in authentic language teaching contexts, let us now watch this extract of an English class for young learners. As you watch, think of the answers to the following questions. What linguistic items is the teacher teaching? How does she generate interaction in class? In what ways is she encouraging language noticing? Is there language retrieval? In what ways?
Hi, I'm Laura, and this is Polly the Parrot. There are many reasons why songs are effective tools for teaching young learners. Connecting words with music makes new language easier to remember, especially when the songs have actions. Movement and music work together to help learners reinforce the meaning of new words and phrases. Puppets are a fun and memorable way to introduce new language. Use the puppet to engage children and give them instructions. When introducing new language to young learners, it's important to activate as many senses as possible. That's why new language is introduced through action songs. This approach activates children's visual, musical, and verbal intelligences and consolidates their memory through movement. Repetition is crucial to help children memorise the song. This section illustrates the types of activities you can use with your class when teaching a new song. Who's this, everybody?
Polly.
Polly, right. Polly says hello. Can you wave hello to Polly? Very good. Polly's clapping her hands. Ah, very good. Polly says, stand up. Oh, very good. Polly says, sit down. Stand up. Sit down. Clap your hands. Wave hello. And wave goodbye. Excellent. I think you're ready for the song now. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Yeah, brilliant. Bit of dancing to start off with. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Let's go. Let's go. And say hello. Hello, 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 hello. Stand up. Sit down. Let's go. Let's go. And say hello. Hello, 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 hello.
The video section that you have just watched, you have seen an example of what noticing means in terms of teaching procedures. Through different techniques, the teacher has helped students notice the new language to be committed to memory. The next stage is retrieval. Each time an item appears again, that is, an item is retrieved, the memory link is enforced. When we refer to retrieval, we are thinking of language that may appear in receptive or productive ways. Receptive, when students encounter the items through listening or reading, whereas productive is when students encounter the item again through speaking or writing. Finally, in the last stages, we are expecting students to be able to encounter the items in subsequent texts. These texts will eventually illustrate and refine the meaning of these words and will help them use the language in multiple new contexts. This last stage is what we call generating. Let's now analyze the story The Very Hungry Caterpillar, written and illustrated by Eric Carle, and decide the answers to these questions. Which are the chunks that the teacher should aim at helping notice while reading the story? Are they relevant for children? Why? What makes it a rich type of input for children? What could the teacher do to help students retrieve the language? Think of possible tasks to bring the items back to students' memory.
Today, I'm going to read this story. It's called The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Let's open it and see. In the light of the moon, a little egg laid on a leaf. On Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate through one apple. But he was still hungry. On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears. But he was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate through 1, 2, 3 plums. But he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate through 4 strawberries. 1, 2, 3, 4. But he was still hungry. On Friday, he ate through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oranges. But he was still hungry. On Saturday, he ate through 1 piece of chocolate cake, 1 ice cream, 1 gherkin, 1 slice of Swiss cheese, 1 slice of salami, 1 lollipop, 1 piece of cherry pie, 1 sausage, 1 cupcake, and 1 slice of watermelon. That night he had a tummy ache. Oh dear, poor hungry caterpillar. The next day was Sunday again, and the caterpillar ate through 1 nice green leaf. And after that, he felt much better. Now he wasn't hungry anymore, and he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore. He was one big, fat caterpillar, and he built himself a small house called a cocoon around himself. He stayed inside for more than 2 weeks, and when he nibbled a hole through the cocoon, he pushed his way out, and he was a beautiful butterfly.